the RZ-028 Blade Liger.
Blade Liger is possibly one of the most iconic Zoids ever made, and this thing is just so cool.
The Blade Liger was first developed around ZAC 2100, with a height of 12.2 meters or 40 feet tall, a length of about 25.9 meters or 85 feet, a weight of 124 tons, and a top speed of 305 kilometers or 189 miles per hour. Blade Ligers come stock with a lot of cool equipment, like multi-blade antenna on the face, energy shield generator left over from the Shield Liger design, compression refrigeration units on all four legs to help keep it cool, 4 strike claws for melee attacks, 3D dual sensor on its tail, a rocket booster hidden in its back panel, double-barreled anti-Zoid shock cannon on the chest, laser sabers, those being the teeth, 2 pulse laser guns, the problematic organoid system, and of course its namesake sporting 2 laser blades. Later versions of Blade Liger would also come equipped with what are called attack boosters. These are booster cannon combos that are attached to the Blade Liger. This gives the Liger a higher top speed while also giving it a more powerful long-range attack. In the original lore, the Blade Liger was developed because at the time the Republic didn't have a Zoid that could contend with the Empire's new model Genosaur. Well, they also did have Gojulus the Ogre at the time, but they only had one of them and it would only ever listen to one pilot, so that's problematic. The Shield Ligers at the time, even Shield Liger DCSJ, just couldn't keep up with the new model Genosaur, so it was time to upgrade.
Upgrades, people, upgrades. That's how we make the dough.
In the Zoid's original battle story lore, Blade Liger was most famously piloted by our boy, Major Arthur Borgman here, who sadly perished in battle. Blade Liger has also appeared in a lot of other Zoids media, comics, manga, video games, and the first 3 Zoids animes, Zoids Chaotic Century, Zoids New Century Zero, and Zoids Fusers. In the first anime, Zoids Chaotic Century, Blade Liger is piloted by our boy Van Flyheight, who grows up to be a lieutenant in the Helic Republic military. In the second Zoids anime, Zoids New Century Zero, we see a red Blade Liger, piloted by a cool character with dumb hair, Leon Toros. And in the third Zoids anime, Zoids Fusers, we see multiple Blade Ligers as part of a team called Black Impact. The first Blade Liger model kit came out in the year 2000. This was a snap-together motorized model kit, battery-operated, and made by Takara Tomy. This version of the Blade Liger would also have metal claws and teeth, and it came with unpainted figures of Van, Fiona, and Zeke from the Zoids Chaotic Century anime. The metal claws and teeth are cool, but unfortunately they've not really withstood the test of time. A lot of people have had problems with degrading metal. Blade Liger's next release would be in 2001, a limited magazine edition. This version was almost identical to the first one, including the metal claws, teeth, and the unpainted figures, except this time it's colored red with a slightly more orange canopy in order to look like Leon's Blade Liger from the second anime. The next version of Blade Liger was part of the Zoids Build, Mobilize, Customize line in the early 2000s, which was distributed by Hasbro in North America. This version is much like the previous red Blade Liger, although this time the claws and teeth are plastic and it does not come with the minifigures. I think I actually had this version when I was a kid. Unfortunately, my stepfather was a Vicodin addict and he wasn't very agreeable, so I don't have my old Zoids from when I was a kid anymore. I'm not 100% sure on this one, but it seems Europe may have gotten their own version of Blade Liger in the early 2000s, back to its original blue coloration, although this time with plastic claws and teeth. Blade Liger's next release would be in 2003 as part of the UG Kaida line, this time the Blade Liger Mirage. This version of Blade Liger appeared in a Zoids webcomic as shown here. It's also appeared in a few other pieces of Zoids media and is most famously piloted by Peter Aesop. It also comes with this red Leo Master decal, which originally belonged to Arthur Borgman, who I mentioned earlier perished in battle, so it seems that Peter is the new red Leo Master after Arthur's demise. The next version of Blade Liger was the Blade Liger Mirage KS, or Canon Special. There were very few of these made, possibly 100 or less, so it's very sought after and expensive. As you can see here, the stripes on this Blade Liger Mirage are more pink than red, and it comes with a blue set of the CP-12 attack boosters. This version of the Blade Liger was made to promote Zoids Infinity for the PlayStation 2, and the Canon part of the name comes from this purple-haired pilot whose name is Canon. Next up, around 2004, we have the Asia-exclusive Forest Night Fight Blade Liger. I don't think it had any special lore or anything like that, but it's a really interesting paint job, and it's getting harder to find. In the mid-2000s, the Blade Liger would get another release as part of the Fusers line. This version was called the Blade Liger Black Impact. Although this version is supposed to tie into the Zoids Fusers anime, I don't believe the decal sheet actually came with any unique decals to designate it as part of the Black Impact team or anything relating to Zoids Fusers, which is a bit of a letdown, but it's still a pretty cool Blade Liger. And finally, I believe the last usage of this molded Blade Liger was in the late 2000s, the Blade Liger BE, or Black Edition. I believe this version is exactly the same as the Black Impact Blade Liger, but I don't have one to compare. This version was sold as part of the Academy line, which was Korea exclusive. Now, onto a different company entirely, Kotobukiya. Starting in 2007, Kotobukiya would begin making the HMM line of Zoids, or high-end master models. Unlike the snap-together model kits from Takara Tomy, the Kotobukiya HMM line of Zoids has no motors, but they are loaded with details. They're much akin to master-grade or occasionally perfect-grade Gundams. While they do lose the motor functionality that most Zoids are known for, these things have so much posability, they just look fantastic. And since 2007, Kotobukiya has produced 7 different kinds of HMM Blade Liger, including the Blade Liger piloted by Van Flyhike, Leon Toros, the Blade Liger Mirage, and even a special limited edition Blu-ray Blade Liger. The Blu-ray version of the HMM Blade Liger is molded entirely in translucent plastic and was bundled with the Blu-ray release of Zoids Chaotic Century, the first of 7 Zoids animes. Around 2010, Blade Liger would get an action figure as part of the Revoltech line. This would come in 3 different versions, blue, red, and Mirage White, and as I said, these are action figures, not snap-together model kits, so they have a lot of posability, but apparently they're a little bit smaller than the usual 1/72 scale Blade Liger, but still pretty cool. In 2011, Kotobukiya would release another type of Blade Liger, this time under the D-Style line. The D-Style line of Zoids are adorable SD chibi Zoids. They're super cute. They are still snap-together model kits, but as you can see, they're quite a bit smaller than the usual 1/72 scale stuff. Kotobukiya would also release 3 special chrome versions of the D-Style Blade Liger. A blue chrome, red chrome, and this version down here with a special mark in the corner that designates it only has gold claws, teeth, and blades. The rest of the armor is as usual. But be careful if you get the blue or red chrome version. The color, for some reason, does not stick to the chrome very well. You can actually scratch the red off with your fingernail and see the regular silver chrome underneath. Not exactly sure why. I don't have this issue with any of my other chrome Zoids, just this little guy. In 2020, Blade Liger would get another action figure in association with Good Smile, the Hagane Works Blade Liger action figure. This thing is awesome. It's a bit bigger than the usual 1/72 scale stuff, but it's got die-cast parts, it looks amazing, and someday I will have one. And finally, in 2023, Blade Liger would get a new release with a new mold as part of the Zoids Anniversary line. This is once again a line of motorized Zoids by Takara Tomy. Although this time they're bigger with brand new molds, much more detail, and just look amazing. I don't have the Anniversary Blade Liger just yet, but I do have the Anniversary Liger Zero. And as you can see, the Anniversary Zoids are a completely different beast than their old classic motorized counterparts, sporting bigger frames, much more detail, and just look at this thing. It's just really freaking awesome. I will definitely be getting all the Anniversary Zoids at some point. And lastly, before we go, there was a tiny little figure of Blade Liger included with Kotobukiya's HMM Death Stinger Hiltz version. This is because in the anime, Hiltz's Death Stinger was supersized to really big proportions, so they included a tiny little Blade Liger for scale. Whew, I think that about covers it. Zoid on.